Ferrari has decided to shift most of its attention to the 2026 Formula One season, and there's a twist that's got fans buzzing. Lewis Hamilton, after a rough 2025 so far, might finally have something to smile about. The big question is, how much say will Hamilton get in shaping the 2026 car? Even more importantly, will Ferrari design the car to fit his driving style? That's a big deal, especially since their 2025 development choices have been, well, let's just say, questionable. In 2024, Ferrari looked like they were catching up to McLaren, but instead, their car dropped off badly as the season went on. That's why they've turned their focus to 2026. This time, though, Hamilton's feedback will play a major role. The goal is to make the car faster, easier, and more enjoyable for him to drive. It's not shocking when you think about it. This is a driver who won 6 world championships with a car that suited him perfectly. And now, at 40 years old, adjusting to a brand new driving style isn't exactly a walk in the park. Before Hamilton even arrived, Ferrari brought in Loïc Serra, the man in charge of chassis development. If there's anyone on the team who believes Hamilton can point out exactly what's wrong with the car, it's Serra. And honestly, he might be right. Even with the new rear suspension Ferrari introduced in 2025, neither Charles Leclerc nor Hamilton was happy with it. Reports suggest Ferrari hasn't been quick to act on Hamilton's feedback. That could mean one of two things. Either they're slow to adapt, or Hamilton is struggling to get comfortable with the car, or maybe it's a bit of both. Either way, 2026 is shaping up to be the year where Hamilton finally feels more at home. In fact, the 7-time world champion has already promised that the new car will carry some of his DNA. Hamilton explained it this way: this year's car offers lots of different setup options, but Leclerc, who's been with the team for years, already knows the sweet spot. He's used to how the car behaves and has shaped its development. Hamilton, on the other hand, has tested other setups that should work, but don't, at least not for him. Over time, he's been forced to adjust his style to match Leclerc's approach, which brought them closer in performance, but the car still feels tricky and uncomfortable to drive. That's why he's now working closely with Loïc Serra and the factory team to make sure the 2026 car truly reflects his driving style. His hope? That next year's car will finally have the handling characteristics he's been asking for, something that feels like it was built for him. When you look closely, there's one big difference between Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc when it comes to developing a Formula One car. Hamilton has driven and won with more than one championship-winning team. In fact, he's claimed titles with both McLaren and Mercedes, while Leclerc spent just a single season with Alfa Romeo before moving up to Ferrari. That's not a knock on Leclerc, he's incredibly talented. But when it comes to pure experience, Hamilton has the edge. He knows what a championship-winning car feels like, and he's been through the highs and lows of different teams and regulations. 6 championships with Mercedes, 1 with McLaren, he's seen it all. Yes, the sport has evolved, and the technical details are different now, but that deep understanding of how a car behaves is something you just can't teach. This might be exactly why Loïc Serra convinced Hamilton to sign with Ferrari a year after Serra himself joined. And it's not just Serra who sees the value in Hamilton's insight. Sky F1's Simon Lazenby believes that Jock Clear, Ferrari's senior performance engineer, is likely pushing the team to take Hamilton's feedback seriously, because if Ferrari really wants a performance turnaround, listening to the man who's been to the top is a smart place to start. A big performance turnaround in 2025. That's probably not happening, mainly because Ferrari has already shifted most of its resources toward preparing for 2026. Still, there's a growing feeling that Hamilton's advice isn't being fully acted on. The common excuse? He's still getting used to the car and doesn't know it well enough yet. That might be partly true, but if Ferrari leans only on Leclerc's feedback, they risk falling into a cycle of repeating the same solutions and expecting different results, a recipe for stagnation. Sky F1's Simon Lazenby put it bluntly. Since 2008, Hamilton has won 7 world championships, while Ferrari has won none. That alone, he says, is reason enough to trust Hamilton's vision for the car. Lazenby also pointed out that Jock Clear, Ferrari's senior performance engineer, has worked with Hamilton at both Mercedes and Ferrari, and knows exactly how to bring out the best in him. If anyone inside the team is loudly pushing for Ferrari to listen to Hamilton, it's Jock Clear. And according to those who've worked with him, Hamilton's feedback is second to none. There's a reason Lewis Hamilton has 7 world championships. His feedback is exceptional. It makes perfect sense for Ferrari to start paying closer attention to what he has to say. That doesn't mean ignoring Charles Leclerc's input. In fact, it's the opposite. It's about finding common ground and creating a car that both drivers can push to the limit. The goal is a machine with a wider performance window, one that works in more conditions and rewards different driving styles. If Ferrari can achieve that, the rest will come down to the drivers extracting everything from it, just like Max Verstappen has done with Red Bull over the past few seasons. What Ferrari doesn't want is to box themselves into the same kind of limitations that have sometimes slowed the Austrian team's progress. For Hamilton, the challenge is clear: give everything he's got to guide Ferrari in the right direction. His arrival could also bring a wave of engineers eager to work with him, and with that comes the potential to transfer some of Mercedes' hard-earned performance secrets to Maranello. The Ferrari engineers would certainly welcome that kind of insight. But this raises an important question, one that perhaps only the engineers, or team boss Fred Vasseur, can answer. Why aren't the drivers being listened to more when it comes to building the car? Imagine if the same thing happened at Red Bull, Max Verstappen asking for one thing, but the team giving him something completely different. It wouldn't end well, would it? That's the danger Ferrari is facing if they don't start paying real attention to their drivers' feedback. And this criticism points directly at team principal Fred Vasseur. As the man in charge, Vasseur is ultimately responsible for the team's shortcomings. Fans are tired of hearing how much potential the car has, only to watch the team fail to unlock it. They're tired of being told the upgrades will deliver results, only to find out they don't. The truth is, Ferrari keeps chasing the final missing piece of the puzzle, but it never seems to fall into place. With the SF25's struggles this season, fixing the problems may require overtime work. If there's one lesson Ferrari should take away from 2025, it's that they need to truly understand the basics of their car before throwing more upgrades at it. And that starts with listening, really listening, to the people who know it best. Hamilton and Leclerc. This time, the story is likely to shift more toward Hamilton. Leclerc has been at Ferrari for years, and while his talent and credibility as a driver aren't in question, there hasn't been a breakthrough in car development during his tenure. Hamilton, on the other hand, is still waiting for the chance to leave his mark and be judged for it. According to 1996 world champion Damon Hill, Hamilton's experience could be the key to helping Ferrari beat Mercedes and McLaren in the development race. Hill explained that Ferrari might achieve something with Lewis that they couldn't with Charles, not because Leclerc lacks skill, but because he's never driven for another team. That's the problem, Hill said. Going from one team to another, it takes a few years. Right now, though, Hamilton's spirits seem low. In Hungary, after being knocked out in Q2 while Leclerc took pole, he admitted he was useless and even said the team should replace him. It was a brutally honest reaction, but one that showed just how frustrated he's become with Ferrari's current form. Those aren't the kind of words you'd expect in a healthy team environment. In fact, they could carry a hidden message. If Ferrari truly believes Hamilton can't offer valuable feedback, then why sign one of the biggest names in Formula One history in the first place? Like it or not, Ferrari now faces its biggest challenge yet: out-developing Mercedes and proving they can fight at the very front with both Leclerc and Hamilton. If they can pull that off, it would be a dream come true for F1 fans everywhere. Seeing the prancing horse back at the top is something the sport has been missing for far too long. So the question remains, has Ferrari chosen the right development path, or are they setting themselves up for another season of What could have been? So here's the uncomfortable truth. Either Ferrari starts truly listening to Lewis Hamilton, or they've just signed a 7-time world champion to play second fiddle in a losing game. Because right now, it's hard to tell whether this is the dawn of Ferrari's redemption or just another chapter in their book of missed opportunities. But that's just my take. What about yours? Do you think Ferrari is on the right development path, or are they wasting Hamilton's golden years? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get the debate going. And while you're here, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, so you don't miss any of our future F1 deep dives.